Welcome. In this video, we are going to look at the actual structure of a GCBM project. This slide displays a flowchart of the overall project structure. The user starts off with their spatial data, including their forced inventory and disturbances, and this is combined with a database of non-spatial modeling parameters, including their growth curves and disturbance matrices. These are combined and processed with a set of Python-based pre-processing tools to put everything into a GCBM readable format. And that, along with the GCBM configuration files in .json or JSON format, goes into a GCBM simulation. The simulation produces a set of spatial outputs as well as SQL database output. In terms of the data required to run the GCBM, on the spatial side, the user will, at a minimum, need a map of the initial forest age or the time since last disturbance and their classifiers. It is recommended to have a mean annual temperature layer, as this affects the decay rates, and a layer identifying administrative and ecological boundaries. In terms of non-spatial or tabular data, the GCBM requires a CBM CFS3 archive index database, which contains the library of non-spatial ecological modeling parameters, and a CBM CFS3 style yield table in .csv or Microsoft Excel format. For those applying the model outside of Canada, using a customized archive index database with country-specific ecological modeling parameters is recommended to improve the carbon results. As mentioned, the archive index database contains the non-spatial parameters and spatially referenced parameters like decay rates, disturbance matrices, which define how carbon is transferred as a result of each disturbance type, root biomass coefficients, and others. This database is used by both the CBM CFS3 and the GCBM. In terms of the disturbance events format for the GCBM, the model can use any spatial layer format, and a raster file can be per year, where the pixel value equates to the disturbance type, or the file can be per disturbance type and year, where the pixel value equates to 0 or 1, bits indicating disturbed or not disturbed. The GCBM can also use any number of vector layer files, with those files containing polygons of completely disturbed areas. In other words, what's displayed on your simulation map is exactly what gets simulated. The vector layer files will also require attributes including the year of disturbance and the type of disturbance. These will be paired with a lookup table that maps non-standard disturbance type names in the spatial layer to actual names of disturbance types in the GCBM's archive index database. Now we'll turn to the structure of the training project used in this course. The Standalone Project involves the user proceeding through a series of individual pre- and post-processing tools organized into a workflow to get new users familiar with the inputs, process, and options to run the GCBM. In terms of the model, what you see is what you get. It imports spatial layers and CBM CFS3 standard import tool-like data and simulates exactly what has been specified by the input data. It is designed to be portable so that you can copy it anywhere and run it as is with the correct Python and GDAL environment. The Standalone Project process is best suited to projects where the data is available in the correct format and does not require any pre-processing beforehand. As such, the process is not just designed for this training and example project, but it can and has been applied to real-world projects with the same basic project structure and scripts. The Standalone Project template is the recommended way to get new projects up and running quickly. The carbon accounting team at the Canadian Forest Service has developed some advanced scripting as well, but the Standalone Project template is the basic project structure used. This diagram displays an overview of the Standalone Project workflow. It begins with the tiler that converts the user's raw data into a GCBM readable format. Then, the Recliner to GCBM tool creates the SQL input database. Once the input database is in place, the GCBM simulation can be run. Upon the successful completion of a simulation, the process moves on to two post-processing tools. The first tool is Compiled GCBM Spatial Output, which stitches all the pieces of the output together into GeoTIFF files. And the second tool is Compiled GCBM Results, which generates ecosystem indicators in an SQLite database. Next, we'll discuss the outputs of the Standalone Project. The tabular output can be in an SQLite database, the default, or a Postgres database. The raw spatial output is in ENVI or GeoTIFF files, and after post-processing, it is converted to standard GeoTIFF format. Additional output includes flattened reporting tables that are more user-friendly. They can be in either SQLite, the default, or Postgres databases. A spreadsheet is available that describes exactly what goes into all of the reporting tables. Here is a quick look at the spreadsheet. Displayed here is the directory structure of the project template. The documentation folder contains important files, including an installation guide, information about the input database schema, the ecosystem indicators in the output database, and example Python snippets for configuring the Tyler script. The GCBM project folder contains a simulation working directory. The input database folder contains the aspatial input data, for example, the archive index database and the yield table. In the next video, we'll discuss a project example called Rectangle World.